Have you ever had this feeling? You find a plugin that seems perfect. You load up, you play a few chords, and you think, finally I found the sound I've been looking for. After 3 hours of tweaking and 120 euros less in your account, it has to be the right one. Otherwise, why would you have bought it? Then listen to the record you're trying to recreate, and you realize something is missing. All the ingredients are here, but somehow it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't have that magic. So we do what we all do. You start looking for another plugin, or maybe a new keyboard, and you ask yourself once again, what's the best Mellotron? What's the best Hammond? What's the best Minimoog? If you've ever typed one of those questions into Google, you probably already know where this is going, because the search never ends. Reviews, demos, comparisons, new purchases, and maybe, after buying yet another instrument, you discover something slightly uncomfortable. The problem was still there. Today I want to prove exactly that. I'm going to play you the exact same preset in two different ways. Same plugin, same settings, no purchases required. Sorry about your wallet. It was probably already making plans for that money. And yet, one of the two examples will sound much closer to the real 70s record. Why? Because the problem, most of the time, isn't the instrument. It's everything that happens around the instrument. As if buying the same model means the sound will come included in the box. Unfortunately, is not how it works. And you know it very, very, very well. Those sounds were simply the results of a specific instrument. They were the result of countless small decisions. How they were performed, how they were recorded, which effects were used, how they found their place in the mix. The instrument was only the starting point. And this is exactly where most keyboard players make their first mistake. Mistake number 1. Thinking the preset is the sound. Many keyboard players believe that finding the right preset means they have found the right sound. But here is the problem. Isn't enough. You can have the exact same 3 wireless Mellotron presets, but that doesn't automatically mean you have the Mellotron sound from Epitaph or the Court of the Crimson King, because a preset doesn't help how you perform it. It doesn't help the timing. It doesn't help the dynamics. It doesn't help how you build your chords and voicings. It doesn't help how you make your phrase breathe. Listen to these 2 examples. It's the exact same sound, and yet the feeling is completely different. The difference isn't just in the plugin, it's mainly in the way it is played. And that's the part you often forget. A sound isn't just what comes out of the speakers. It's everything that happens before that. Mistake number 2. Judging a sound in isolation. Another very common mistake is listening to a sound on its own and try to copy it. But the great sounds are never created in isolation. The Mellotron on King Crimson's records wasn't supposed to sound amazing by itself. It had to work together with drums, bass, and guitar. The same is true for all sounds in all records. Many sounds that seem incredible on their own completely disappear inside a mix. Others that seem almost simple become perfect once they are part of the music. Because nobody listening to a record is thinking, "Whoa, what a great preset!" They are listening to a song. A great sound isn't simply a beautiful tone, it's a tone that works within the music. Mistake number 3. Thinking effects are just an add-on. Most keyboard players treat reverb, delay, or saturation as a final touch. But in reality, they are part of the sound. For instance, an Hammond organ without a Leslie speaker is not a real Hammond organ sound. And not just because an effect is missing, because a part of the instrument identity is missing. This is not the case, however, for organs like Farfisa and Vox, which were usually never run through a Leslie speaker. Or, for instance, a Mellotron without ambience loses a huge part of its atmosphere. Or a Minimoog without a right treatment can sound much less expressive. When we remember a great vintage sound, we are usually remember the entire song, the entire production, the band, the recording, not just the keyboard. Even though, of course, the keyboard player will still take all the credit. And now we get to the most interesting part. Vintage instruments were full of imperfections. The Mellotron had unstable tapes, mechanical noise and tuning issues. The Hammond had clicks, electrical noise and small variation from key to key. The Minimoog was extremely sensitive. Changes in temperature and power supply could affect the stability of the oscillators. In other words, incredible instruments, but not exactly designed to make musicians' lives easier. And yet, those imperfections are exactly what made them recognizable. The funny thing is that today we do the opposite. We chase digital instruments that are more and more perfect, cleaner, more precise, more accurate. And then we buy plugins that add noise, saturation, instability, movement. Basically, we pay to recreate the very imperfections that made the original instrument special. Now listen to this example. First, the preset with its cleanest possible version. Then the same preset with more movement and imperfections. Which version feels more alive? The second one. Not because it's more accurate, but because it behaves more like a real instrument. A real instrument that breathes. Real instruments breathe. They move slightly. They change from movement to movement. They are never completely static. So, what is the real secret to recreating a great vintage sound? Don't buy more plugins. I know that's probably the least useful sentence for the musical gear industry, but it's true. The secret is how to listen. The next time you hear a sound you love, don't just ask yourself, which instrument recreates this sound? Ask yourself, what makes this sound recognizable? Is it the way it's played? Is it how it sits in the mix? Is it those small imperfections? Once you start asking these questions, you can get incredible results even with the instruments you already own. Because in the end, keyboards and plugins don't recreate records. Musicians do. Today, I focused on the instruments I've used in my recent videos, but the same principle applies to virtually any instrument or situation. If you find this video helpful, let me know in the comments which vintage sound you've always wanted to recreate. And if you wanted to get more out of your setup without constantly buying new plugins, you'll find the link in the description to book a free sounds analysis call with me. So, that's all for now. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.